going on, Vikings fans? Welcome into Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to go over some winners and some losers from Vikings rookie minicamp. Now, quick here off the top, there are no true losers from Vikings rookie minicamp, but there are some guys that may have a tougher time getting a starting role or even just making the roster after a couple of these rookies looked very impressive during the first couple of days of Vikings rookie minicamp. But in other Minnesota news tonight, the Timberwolves are taking on the Golden State Warriors, have a chance to go up 3-1 in the series. So if you guys want the Wolves to beat the Warriors tonight and improve the 3-1 against Golden State, hit that thumbs up icon, show Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, and the whole crew some love. Hit that thumbs up button, and maybe we can hit 500 likes and guarantee a Wolves win over the Warriors tonight. All right, first off, the biggest loser from Vikings rookie minicamp was actually us, all of us fans who were hoping and anticipating that J.J. McCarthy would show up. Ben Gessling had a couple reports that maybe he would be there rookie minicamp, but J.J. McCarthy was not there. He'll be there once real Vikings practices start getting underway. But I guess the first real loser of this is us Vikings fans because we don't get any J.J. McCarthy practice clips just yet. But the first real winner here, I'm going to go Tai Felton, third-round pick out of Maryland. He really impressed. All the local beat reporters that were there, even though a lot of the Vikings coaching staff had a lot of high praise for Tai Felton. And, you know, this guy rocking the number 13, love that number for Tai Felton at the wide receiver 3 spot. But listen, I think he's got a very good chance to be wide receiver 3 day one of the season. Like, I don't think this is something where he's going to have to work and fight and try to beat out like a Jalen Nailor or Rondell Moore. Like, clearly the Vikings were very high on this guy. Keenan Cardell, he was talking about him, how he showed him a lot of praise. And even special teams coordinator Matt Daniels, he was showing Tai Felton a lot of love. So I think he'll be an impact player from day one. But then also our good old friend Alec Lewis, he was at Vikings rookie minicamp, and he tweeted this out saying, "Impressed me Friday how long Tai Felton was. Not sure I expected that, but stands out as an athlete, certainly." And, you know, I think when the Vikings took Tai Felton and I started diving into him, I kind of looked at him as more of just like a gadget guy where, you know, you just want to get him the football in space and he can do the rest. But he really does stand out as an athlete. He's got these super long arms, and he's a great hands catcher. Rarely, and if you go turn on the tape at Maryland, please go find me a clip where he's using his body to catch the football. Everything is with his hands. He's got great late hands as well on these deep routes, and that's why he was incredibly productive for Maryland. Over 1,100 yards last year and 9 touchdowns. 8 of those 9 touchdowns did come in the red zone, which I think it speaks to his route running ability, trying to create space in a phone booth, and, you know, that's what red zone football is at the NFL level. So, you know, my hot take on Tai Felton, I think he's going to have a 100-plus yard game when Jordan Addison is suspended. I think it's going to be one of the first 3 games of the season where we're going to look up and we're going to be like, damn, Tai Felton's got 7 receptions, 110 yards. Maybe he finds the end zone once or twice, but I think he'll probably have to step in, be that wide receiver 2. You got Rondell Moore, Jalen Nailor. They'll fill out the rest of that bunch when Addison is suspended. But we will talk about Jalen Nailor here on the second half of today's show. I think he may not be getting a whole lot of reps for this Vikings offense, but stay tuned for that. But I do want to show some love to Tai Felton. Then also another rookie here, Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State. I feel like this guy is going to be a fan favorite from day one. I mean, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to Ivan Pace Jr., but he feels like a juiced-up Ivan Pace. And also, we got a report here that he had an interception on day one of Vikings rookie minicamp. He apparently picked off Max Brosmer, so that's great news there. Because, you know, Kobe King, very similar to Ivan Pace. Like, he is that typical, like, run-stuffing, you know, blitz-heavy linebacker, but he does have some question on his ability to cover in space. But it was great news that he had an interception on day one. But what I love the most about him from rookie minicamp was actually what he had to say, after the Friday practice, saying this: "I've been embracing the process, trusting in my building, my training. You know, it's a process, but it ain't been as rocky as people would expect. It's been a really smooth process for me, really. My goal is to go out there, show my teammates and the club they can trust me, that they can have confidence in me, and just, you know, evolve my pass game effectiveness. I'm very effective in both aspects of the game, but, you know, there's still areas to improve." And, you know, even with Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace getting the main 2 roles for the Vikings linebackers this year, I do think Kobe King, and this may not be in the first month or first 2 months of the season, but I do think at a point throughout the season, he will have a big-time role. But also, I do think specifically day one of the season, he'll have a specified role, whether that's, certain, run-heavy packages, whether that's maybe the Vikings feel more comfortable with him in coverage compared to Ivan Pace Jr., so maybe he could be the third down linebacker, but he can do a multitude of different things, and I think Brian Flores, this was probably a draft pick when we were on day 3 that Flores looked at Kwesi and was like, hey, give me that guy. He'll be an impact player day 1 on this football team. Also wore the green dot for Penn State. He was a captain. All of his teammates loved him, so I think he could have a similar impact this year with the Minnesota Vikings. But how about the first-round pick, Donovan Jackson? Now, it's tough to get any, real reports on how dominant an offensive lineman was at rookie minicamp since, obviously no pads on. They're just kind of going through the motions here. But he looked big. He looked like his wingspan was a whole lot larger than what he measured at the scouting combine. But I thought it was pretty funny. Kevin O'Connell was joking around about, Donovan Jackson, just all of these offensive linemen. And he said Chris Cooper and Keith Carter invitational in terms of those guys just standing over there on that side of the field. KOC's dealing with everything else. And he just has those offensive linemen working with offensive line coach Chris Cooper and Keith Carter there. So I thought that was pretty funny, KOC joking around about that. But I do have an honorable mention here. Max Brosmer, up and down day on day 1, apparently threw 2 interceptions. One was tipped, I believe. And then another one went to Kobe King. But he also looks pretty good in certain spots. Kevin O'Connell was raving about this guy, just his process and how he goes about it. So it'll be pretty cool if he's a practice squad quarterback for the Vikings. Maybe as Brett Rippon goes down, he'll be the emergency third quarterback. But still a cool story that, played with the Golden Gophers for his collegiate football. Now he's playing with the Minnesota Vikings. But in terms of a breakout guy this upcoming season, since we're talking about the Tai Feltons, the Kobe Kings, if you guys could name a player that will break out for the Vikings next season, my guy, I think it's still going to be Theo Jackson. I think he's going to have a massive role for this defense, and I also think he's going to produce very, very well. So if you guys could name a player that will break out for the Vikings next season. Now, we'll dive into 3 losers here in a second from Vikings rookie minicamp. But before we do so, if you guys want to get a J.J. McCarthy jersey today, hit that link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. It's going to be a sweet jersey to wear on game days in U.S. Bank Stadium, or even if you guys are just chilling at home, rocking those 9s at your crib. So if you guys want to get a jersey today, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Click that link in the comment section or description of today's show. All right, so the first loser here for the Vikings, I'm going to go Jalen Nailor. Now, again, none of these guys are real losers since Jalen Nailor obviously wasn't even at rookie minicamp. But I think with the emergence of Tai Felton and, some of these other guys here, I think there is a solid chance that Jalen Nailor, it's going to be tough for him to crack this rotation this season. Now, here's the 5 right now for the Vikings. Jefferson, Addison not going anywhere. And honestly, after what we heard from Tai Felton, I know this sounds hyperbolic, but I almost think he's locked in to be wide receiver 3 this season. And then that leaves Nailor in an interesting spot because Rondale Moore, he's got all types of talent. This guy was a high draft pick for a reason, where Jalen Nailor on the other side, he was a 6th-round pick for a reason. So I actually think it's going to be tough for Jalen Nailor to find the football field this season. And I mean that, consistently. Obviously, if there's an injury or when Addison's suspended, he'll be out there, he'll be doing his thing. But I just think week in, week out, what if there's a month or 2 stretch where, when Addison's not suspended, it's just all Tai Felton, all Rondale Moore? Where does Jalen Nailor work into the mix? Now, he's got good speed. Is it great speed? Not necessarily. So I think they would use Rondale Moore, who does have great speed, as their gadget guy over Jalen Nailor here. So kind of tough for Nailor. Kind of got the short end of the stick with them drafting Tai Felton. So that's why I got him a loser on today's show. And then this one hurts my heart the most. I hate even calling this guy a loser because he just wins in every aspect of life. But I am going to have to go former UDFA linebacker out of Cincinnati, Ivan Pace Jr. And, the main reason for this, and I think this Kobe King pick was pretty telling, I have doubts if Ivan Pace is a part of the Vikings' long-term plans at the linebacker position. Because, we know Pace. He is a one-trick pony. On these first and second down situations where, the team is, probably going to run the ball or probably going to get into a deep play action set, they'll just say, hey, Ivan Pace, go find the football, and he'll either attack the ball carrier or he'll just blitz after the quarterback. But the one concerning thing about Pace is, and you could view this almost as a positive thing depending on how you're viewing it, is he's exactly the guy that we thought he was going to be coming out. I think his PFF grades paint that picture perfectly, where you see coverage grade 29.8, 177th overall out of 189 eligible linebackers. Not good there. But then pass rush, he was 3rd. Run defense, he was 14th. Overall, comes out to 88th in the league. I'm assuming the Vikings will want to have an upgrade at that position. Now, maybe they're hoping Kobe King could be that, or maybe they try to draft a guy next year to replace Ivan Pace. But I really have my doubts if Pace is going to be, a 5 to 7 year starter here in Minnesota. I think Brian Flores has really gotten the most out of him. Now, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Maybe the Vikings will have like a turntable at the linebacker position where Pace is still getting consistent reps here, but I just don't know if the Vikings are going to feel comfortable, especially on like these 3rd and long situations, having Ivan Pace out there on the football field. Now, this could be a situation where you just plug in Andrew Van Ginkel at that spot next to Blake Cashman, then you also bring Dallas Turner down, so then you get Turner more reps on these 3rd down packages. So just watch your eyes on Ivan Pace, and it's probably not going to be this year, next 2 years after, but I could see the Vikings, maybe not bringing him back, but we'll see. I mean, if he takes a huge step in coverage this upcoming season, he's looking like a very, very complete linebacker. But number 3 for me, I'm going to go Ty Chandler here. Now, Ty Chandler obviously got the short end of the stick when the Vikings traded for Jordan Mason. He is by far, the 3rd running back on this roster. But I also think Ty Chandler, I think he could be a surprise cut candidate for the Vikings this season. When, the final 53 man comes out and we're like, oh, shit, Ty Chandler didn't make the team. Who else made it? Well, I think it could be like a kick returner, like a Silas Bolden or a Miles Price, one of these UDFAs, because Chandler was returning kicks for the Vikings this past season. Maybe they try to go a different direction. So for me, I still think he'll make the team. Probably about 50-50 on that, but I think it's just, at the end of the day, it's going to be very hard for him to get any carries on a week-to-week basis for the Minnesota Vikings. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. Also, hit me up on Twitter, @PatSieps, the Twitter handle. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.